Luxury Staffing, the podcast by Morgan and Mallet. From private chef to recruiter, what ultra high net worth clients really need to know.
Hello there, podcast listeners. In today's episode of the Morgan and Mallet podcast, we've got Runet. She's from South Africa and she's been with Morgan and Mallet for quite a while. And she's going to just give us like a bit of an introduction first to her story, to her life and how she got started with Morgan and Mallet. So welcome to the podcast, Runet. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm great, thanks.
Super. Right then, let's jump straight into it. So first, before we get into some questions that our clients will be very interested in hearing, could you tell us first, my understanding is that you started off as a private chef and a trainer for high-end clients. Is that right?
That is correct. So to be fairly honest, my journey actually started off in the yachting industry as a stewardess. And I just fell in love with how the chef, was cooking and everything. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So studied chefing after that and ended up in a private household in Dubai, working for amazing family, and started nutrition after that. And then I kind of fell in love on how the body works and, how everything moves and how you feed it. And that's how also I went into fitness. And then I was like, this would just be a great combination, and that is how I ended up in a nutshell, being a private chef and a personal trainer.
Wow. Okay. And what inspired you to move from service and into recruitment?
I think to me, it was the routine. I kind of, in the industry, when you're actually working on the yachts or also in a private household, it does turn into a lifestyle, it's not just a job. And I just preferred on land more. But then also for me, everybody that would listen to this and knows that they're also in the industry would understand that when it's a lifestyle, it's also you need flexibility. And working for a high-end client, you're always on the clock, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think that is why I chose to move into more of recruitment and just have a bit of more of a routine.
Understood.
I'm getting old, so I need to start a family. No,
All right. So how do your past roles help you understand clients and candidates better today?
I feel like I understand what candidates goes through the whole process and what's also expected of them. And from that side to a client side, I don't know, like you just understand everything better, you understand what the client is looking for because you've worked with these high-end clients and you know what to look for in candidates. And that's also, it kind of helps you to match the perfect people together as well at the end of the day. So I think, that's kind of how that helps me.
When you said what to look for, what they expect, could you give us an example?
I mean, obviously we call it the industry, let's say the yachting industry or the private chefing industry, whatever you want to call it. All of them are different, don't get me wrong. The standards on the yachting industry is definitely way different to be very fairly honest, housekeeping standards in Dubai, but the high-end clients in Dubai is still looking for the yachting service standards, which you need to kind of also explain to them in a way, that is not what you're going to get here. Maybe I do believe in other countries like Europe, where the yachting industry is a little bit bigger as well, that is the type of service you'll get. But I think, that's there's a very fine line if it being the same industry, but the services does, the standards of the service is kind of different in all of the different places.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, Lorraine has spoke very highly of staff who have come from the yachting industry and moved into domestic staff as maybe as house managers or as butlers or whatever. And she said it's probably one of the best backgrounds to have because it's just so demanding. So yeah. And what lessons from your time as a private staff member do you still use now in recruitment?
Oh, wow. I think what I use still, well, in recruitment, I think attention to details,
Yeah.
adaptability and professionalism at all times, of course. In private service, the small things matter most. And that's something I carry into recruitment every day.
I see. The small matters, the small things matter most. Could you give me an example of that? I've never worked in a private household. So on the one hand, I'm the worst person for this podcast, but on the other hand, I'm good because I've probably got plenty of questions the audience might have. So what examples of the small details would you have?
For me, I mean, it comes to, like when I look at candidates and clients, when it comes to small things that matters most, your personality, the way you handle things, the way you look at things. There's a lot of things that goes into the mix when it comes to these type of things. When it comes to, housekeeping, cleaning, I mean, like you just mentioned, coming from the yachting industry into a household service role, you just clean differently. You even like for me now, if I get anybody else to come and do deep cleaning, it will never reach the standards of yachting, which I mean, I wish everybody was the same, but it's unfortunately just the reality of it. So yeah, it can go to physical small things, or like just small things, meaning like how to deal with clients, how to look at things, and yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Right then. Now, what's one thing you wish principals or family officers understood about recruiting private chefs or wellness staff?
I think the perfect candidate on paper doesn't always translate into the right fit in reality,
Yeah.
Personality, communication style, and lifestyle alignment are just as important as experience. And I feel that high-end clients always, don't get me wrong, I always try and find them the perfect candidate, but there's never always going to be that, the perfect candidate to break it to them.
I gotcha. Yeah. So you kind of like, okay, you wanted A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and realistically, we can get you A, B, D, C, E, F, for example. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. And how do you spot the right personality fit between a client and the household team?
I think it comes down to understanding both sides deeply. So whenever I do my interviews with the candidate, I really do, I take it very seriously. The process is very, a serious process to me. Likewise with the client, and I'm very honest with both the client and the candidate. But I look at how the candidate communicates, their level of flexibility, and how they've handled previous roles. Then match that against the client's environment, expectations, and pace of life.
Interesting. You said the candidate's flexibility. How do you determine that flexibility in an interview?
You can immediately see if somebody is going to go the extra mile or not. I think it's a talent I got. If there's one talent that I did receive, this is it. I do not know how, but I can immediately tell you if somebody is you can immediately spot the difference between somebody that has a passion for their job and somebody that's really doing their job because it brings in money. You get a salary and that is what you have to do. So you can definitely see that immediately.
Gotcha. Are the people who have a passion, I imagine they're far rarer and more difficult to find. Is that true?
Definitely.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Patrick and myself, who spoke about this before, about the workers who have pride in their work, who will put their name on the finished sort of like article or product or whatever. And yeah, it is a rare commodity to find. But when you do find it, you've got to jump all over it, right?
100%. No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is still a lot of people out there that does, you know, they've got a passion for working 24/7. It sounds weird. I feel like I'm one of them, but it's so weird. But no, like, I don't know. You just handle things differently when that's the case.
Exactly. Yeah, totally agree. And what makes a truly good employer in this industry?
Okay.
Why are you giggling?
No, I think clarity, respect, and of course consistency. But the best employers set clear expectations, that's for sure, and communicate openly. And also they treat their staff as professionals. That also you don't always see, which is truly sad to say that out loud. But especially in few countries, I don't want to name it. I should not have said that, but it's fine. You know, you get staff that you interview and they're like, you know, I didn't get a day off last month. And I was like, how is that possible? That is illegal. So it just comes down to that, you know, like the way you treat your staff at the end of the day, that is what service you'll be getting as well.
I see. Interesting. And how can clients create an environment that helps staff deliver their best? I guess give them the respect, the flexibility, and everything you just said, right?
Yeah. I feel when staff feels respected and understood, they also understand what's expected from them, and then they can focus on delivering a high, you know, level of service without uncertainty. So that also comes back to clear communication, you know, if that's also when, sorry, I'm going off the point, but I've got a few clients which I love working with them because they go straight to the point. They tell you exactly what they want, what they don't like in a very respectful way. And I always tell the candidates, listen, if I was still a private chef, this is a client I would like to work with because you know there's not going to be there's no space for error, of course, but they give you everything you need straightforward. So you don't need to, you know, go and try and figure out, does he want this or does he not want this? So yeah, I think that is kind of there needs to be a very good understanding between a candidate and a client.
Interesting. So as you said, just absolute clarity, expectations clear, all the information you'll need. So there's, as you just said, there's no margin for error. This is like the ideal client. And interestingly, you said, like every time you've worked with them, they've given you clear instructions and a clear brief. So I guess these clients have come back a few times. They came back for different staff each time?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and that was because there was a good job done in the first place, right?
Oh, I'll take it that way, yes. It's a compliment if I have to give myself a compliment, yeah. But yeah, 100%, you know, at the end of the day, they come to Morgan and Mallet to get a service, and we obviously, even though I'm not in the yachting industry or the private chefing industry anymore, I still value high service everywhere. So that's the same.
Interesting. And you're based in Dubai at the moment, is that right, Runet?
Yes, I am.
Gotcha. And most of your clients at the moment, are they based in Dubai or are you serving clients from other countries?
Oh no, I've got clients from India, from Saudi, a lot of Doha, Egypt. So we're kind of all over. And a small little bit told me that we're also reopening South Africa at the moment. So whenever this does go online, that's an exciting part. That is also, yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be dealing with people from your own country, won't you?
I'm so excited, you know. I know I'll be speaking English, but here and there I do know South African word will drop. So I'm very excited for dealing with those clients.
And can you speak Afrikaans as well?
Yes, that's my first language.
Oh, right.
You
Gotcha.
cannot pick up that English is my second language. Come on.
No, honestly, I had no idea. Oh, wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, then. Last question. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that you feel the clients should know?
To the clients, wow. I think the only thing that I would probably put out there is that just value your staff more.
Mm,
That's one thing I've really picked up the last few months working for Morgan Mallet, understanding the difference between the candidates and then the clients. And I think just respecting and valuing your staff more is going to go a very, very long way.
excellent. Great point. Right then. So that's the end of this episode. Thank you very much, Runet. You've been absolutely fantastic. I do appreciate you taking the time for this call. And for our listeners, if you could subscribe if you enjoyed this and maybe share it with some people you think would benefit from listening to this. And if you do need a candidate for whatever role, and even if you're uncertain, just head over to householdstaff.agency and you can fill out the form or give us a call and we'll get back in contact with you within 24 hours and would be more than happy to help. So that's householdstaff.agency. And thank you for listening and have a super day. Thank you very much, Runet.
Thank you, Ben.
Super.